On this episode of Nugget Project, we're installing our new race exhaust from Misch's XL Garage. That's right people, it is time to upgrade the exhaust on the Nug. So, the exhaust currently on there, I got built by our friend Rob who did the roll cage. So, Rob actually built this exhaust to my specifications. Obviously when I was learning about all this sort of stuff, I went on a bunch of forums and once again the XL information wasn't really there. You know, there's a few people making parts, but it wasn't a lot of information at the time. So I spoke to a bunch of people and the recommendation was for a 1.5 litre, about a 2-inch exhaust, which is what we did. So 2-inch exhaust. Now I was paranoid about it being too loud. So at Sandown, there's a 75 decibel noise limit and cars get pinged all the time. I was really nervous about getting kicked off track. So it has, you know, a hot dog down the middle, it has a big muffler on the back, and it is a pretty quiet race car. It's one of the quietest ones in the field, which is unnecessary. So anyway, the time has come. The car is now, I'm pushing the car harder. I needed to breathe a bit better. That exhaust has been fantastic, and once again, it was built to my specifications, and Rob did a fantastic job. You know, mandrel bed 2-inch. And I will be putting that up for sale. For somebody starting out in racing, that is a wicked exhaust. So if you want the exhaust, give me a yell and we'll do you a good deal on it. But now it's time to upgrade. So this is the front section and all the other sections of the exhaust from Misch's XL Garage race exhaust. These things are the duck's nuts. So I raced in Aaron's car in the Enduro in South Australia at the Bend. He has one of these exhausts and it's wicked. It flows so well and they sound sick. It sounds like a little European rally car. It pops and bangs and crackles and yells, and it's little angry bumblebee on cocaine. It's fantastic. It's the way a race car should be. It's so good. And these exhausts are really good. They've been dyno tested. They've gone through a bunch of iterations to get it to where it is now. And it's one of the best exhausts for power. You know, there's talk about an extra 3 kilowatt. I don't know what that is in old school terms. 4.5, maybe 5 horsepower. That's a big gain out of a little engine. It's only got, you know, 95 horsepower. So that's pretty sick. It's got some great features. It's got the, so we have to run the stock exhaust manifold on the car, which comes out with 2 ports like that. And then from there, you can see it's got the unequal length headers, which helps with scavenging, and scavenging is basically where the exhaust helps pull the gases out of the exhaust. The gases aren't bumping into each other and causing back pressure on the exhaust. It's more complicated than that, but that's the basis of it. And then other really cool things on here, like you can see on the chamber here, that's where our oxy sensor goes, but they've also put in a blanked out bung for a wideband. That is using your noodle. I was very impressed. I actually rang, I messaged Turbo Tristan, one of the other YouTubers, and said, hey dude, can you weld in a bung for a wideband? He's like, yeah, that's cool. And then the exhaust rocks up, it's already got one. So that is really planning ahead and really well thought out. Obviously we've got a flex section there to allow for expansion. And then the rest of the exhaust is a 2.5-inch mandrel bent unit. So nice flow. It's got a hot dog down the middle and basically a little hot dog at the back, and that is it. It is rowdy. Have a listen to Aaron's car from the Enduro. How sick does that thing sound? I love it. And on at the Bend, you go around the right hander on turn 1, and then you got a left, and then there's a big sweeping right. And when you go around that right, you shut off, but you're kind of feathering the throttle to keep the car around. As you're feathering the throttle, it's just popping and banging and farting and making fun noises. It's so good. Anyway, we're going to switch over to GoPro, and I'll just quickly show you the sections of the exhaust. So here's our front section. As I explained, it's got the unequal length headers going to this little chamber here where we've got the 2 spots for the sensors. And then mid-section with a hot dog, the little bend here that goes around the fuel tank and everything, and then obviously the rear section here with the hot dog, and then just the tailpipe out the back. And all of this comes with all the gaskets and fittings and everything you need to make this work. I mean, it's a really complete kit and a good bolt-on solution. I think this is fantastic. They've done such a good job of it. And coming in 4 sections is great because it makes it easier to install. You don't have to try and lift this big exhaust up and make it all work. It'll just it'll just work. So it's really good. Anyway, I guess the first step for this, jack up your car. Wow. But other than jack up the car, we need to get up on stands and I need to get the old exhaust out. So let's do that now. Cool, so when you're getting your old exhaust off, just give it a spray with a bit of WD-40. Just spray all the old bolts and stuff. And then there's just the 3 here. So 1, 2, and 3 to get the downpipe off. And then it's pretty much however many bolts depending on what exhaust you've got. But it's pretty easy, and then just pull the hangers off. Like, really simple. I don't need to show you this. So we'll get it off and then we'll have a look at the new one. Sweet, so the exhaust is out. Yeah, so look at the difference. I mean, you can see the physical size difference between the two. You know, being a 2-inch and a 2.5, it's much bigger. Yeah, look, this exhaust has served me well. It's been a great thing. You know, Rob did a great job. It's got all the nice bends in it. It's just, I just want to go a little bigger. And honestly, if somebody wanted to buy this exhaust and just get a straight pipe made up for that, or just do a hot dog the same as this instead of the muffler, it would probably perform very close. But yeah, I'm definitely keen to get this Misch one on. So this one we'll put aside, and I'll put that up for anybody that wants it. And for now, we can put this beauty on. As a little side note, and you'll laugh at this one. So I've had a tiny oil leak on this car for as long as I can remember, and I could never find it. And I thought the sump needed resealing, and I've been looking at everything, and you know, I built this new engine. I thought, well, the oil leak's going to be fixed. Bloody look at the ground, and there's still oil on the ground. I can't. It's only a little bit, but it drives me nuts. I'm like, how? And the only part I've moved over is the sump. So I did some inspecting, and I found the tiniest little crack, little hairline crack in the sump, and it's from where my dad and I welded in the baffle. And it's just one of those spot welds. It's just cracked underneath it ever so slightly. And obviously, it's been like that for ages. It hasn't moved. And I should probably get it welded up. I just don't have the time, and I don't want to take it off and everything. So for now, and this will probably stay on the car forever because it works fine, I made up a little aluminium patch and bent it to shape. And then I've used the Permatex cold weld, which literally will bond anything to anything. You can hang a car from the roof with this stuff. It is so strong. So I've like oozed all underneath it, and the crack, seriously, it's like the width of my fingernail. It's just there, like it's only about that long from there to there, and it's like hairline. You can barely see it. But yeah, so I've lathered that all up with the Permatex cold weld, done that. I'll give that a quick spray over just to make it look a bit nicer, and hopefully that should solve that. And then one day I will get that little crack welded up, or do it myself when I learn how to weld better. But yeah, that's a funny little thing. And also my sump plug is leaking again, because these things always bloody leak. I hate them. I've got 2 new copper washers up there, so I'm going to throw a new copper washer on there. But the problem is when you do it, you got to dump the oil out, or at least some of the oil, and put your thumb over it and change the washer. It's a freaking headache. I hate it. But I'll have to do it, so I'll do that. But for now, I'll just wait till this dries, and then just give that a quick spray of black paint. It dries pretty quick. It's fully cured in like 18 hours or something, but it like hard in 8 minutes. And then we can bolt the rest of this exhaust on. I'm very excited for this exhaust. You have no idea. Anyway, let's get to that. Whenever you're putting exhaust stuff together, just use a little bit of anti-seize, just like on the thread of the oxy sensor and stuff, and it helps it come out if you ever need to take it back out again. Look at that. Other things that just work so good. Now, something else I want to do, which I know is going to get a lot of people up in arms, everyone has a big opinion about this stuff, is heat wrap. Now, a heat wrap is basically an exhaust wrap. It's a heat-proof wrap, and you can use it for lots of different applications. It's really good in engine bays for keeping heat away from other parts of the engine, like wiring and things like that. In this case, what I want to use it for is this part of the pipe here goes straight past the sump. Keeping oil cool in a race car is pretty important. We don't run an oil cooler. I may do one day, but not many people do. But wrapping this part of the pipe will really help with keeping the oil cool. Now, most exhaust manufacturers do not like it, because underneath that it can crystallize and damage the piping and the exhaust. I get that, but you know, for what I'm doing with this car, I think it's more important to keep that oil cool. And at the end of the day, if I have to, I will buy a new front pipe in a couple of years' time if that does happen. So yes, I am going to use heat wrap just on this section here, just to try and keep the sump a bit cooler, and just keep our oil temps down. And you can also do it, see, if you're running a car in an enduro, you can run some heat wrap where it goes past the fuel tank. There is a stock shield there, but that little bit of heat wrap there can stop heating up the fuel tank. And obviously hot fuel is not as good as cooler fuel. So when you're doing enduros and it's just constant heat around that tank, that can be a problem too. So anyway, we'll just use a bit of this and just wrap this section that goes past the sump, and I think we're pretty good. And then by then our little patch should be dry. We can give that a paint, and then we can bolt all this up. Much excitement. Okay, heat wrap is done, and also remember, heat wrap is fiberglass based. So I'm itchy and an idiot, but I've dealt with plenty of fiberglass in the past. And you should wear a mask, yada yada yada, all health and safety. But it's wrapped. And that'll do the trick to keep the oil sump cooler. Please bear in mind, speak to your exhaust person. I'm pretty sure Misch probably doesn't recommend we wrap this. I'm doing this at my own risk. But yeah, make your own mind up about that. Don't take my word for it. Cool, so I've fixed up the sump, that's ready to go. So now it's time to bolt this sucker in. Let me show you how all that works. So here we have a bunch of lovely bolts and gaskets and stuff. So they are the gaskets for the middle, and that is a lovely new gasket for our manifold. So we'll use that, and we use the stock nuts to put it back on. So we'll raise that up into there, bolt it on there, and then we'll slowly work our way down the line till it's all in. Let's go. So no surprise guys, this is going to be hard to film, but we're bolting this up to here. It's very basic stuff. So that's our new gasket, and we've got the nuts ready there. So you can usually kind of get this on and it'll kind of wedge on. Oh, this one will wedge on well. Okay, too well. And that is the stock one, so we'll get rid of that. Get in there. Which is tight. Well, it's definitely not going to fall off, so that's good. Get up there. Cool. Easy. All right. We raise this up, and obviously the whole back of the exhaust is going to hang because it's got nothing to attach to yet. So we'll just kind of get that up on there. Try not to touch the wrap too much so we don't get too itchy. And put the nuts on. Right, now we use a long extension at the socket. This is a 17mm. Get up on there. Now you usually need a long series for this, but what I do is just kind of get the socket on there and then pull it out a bit, and that gives me enough clearance to just get this done up. Okay, done. Okay, the next section of this exhaust is the midsection with the hot dog. So give our hangers a bit of a spray just to help get the hooks on, and the bar goes down obviously so the hooks hangers don't fall off. Let's give me a wiggle. Come on, what do you get? Perfect. Okay, now the make sure you put your gasket in, and the nuts and bolts Misch has supplied are a 16mm for the bolt and a 14mm for the nut. There we go. Midsection on. So this one's pretty simple. It's just got the one hanger. So you just got to line the hanger up and you know which way around the pipe goes. And then, once again, you just bolt that up to that without hitting the camera. Okay, once again, pretty straightforward. Put the hangers on the car. One there, one there. Right, there's only two here. Okay, I understand. Alrighty, let's get it over. It goes over the sway bar. So it gives you something to rest on. Put the hanger on. There we go. Sweet. Gasket and bolts. Ow. And there we go. That is on there. Hell yeah. Okay, so the last thing you need to remember to do is connect up your oxy sensor again, which I've forgotten to do many times. So let's get under there. And there's our oxy sensor. There's our cable. It's pretty obvious which one it's going to connect to. It's the one hanging down above it that's all lonely and stuff. Dunzell, Washington. How good's that? A new Misch's XL Garage racing exhaust. Let's see what it sounds like. And there we go, guys. The Misch's XL Garage exhaust is on the car, and oh my God, I forgot how rowdy these things are. So good. Look, if we're gonna build a race car, sound like a damn race car. You know, we've done all the cool, this is part of the fun, and this is stuff that people don't understand is, yes, it's a little XL, but if you're gonna build a race car, make it fun. Do aluminium door cards and paint your roll cage weird colors, and you know, it's not serious. Have some fun with it. I'm never going to win championships or, you know, I'll probably never win a race to be honest, but I'm going to have fun with this car while I've got it and do cool graphics and fun wheels and paint my brake calipers blue, and putting exhaust like this on where you come into a, you know, you shut off for a corner and it goes ba 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 and makes all sorts of rally car noises. Hell yes, that's fun as hell. Why wouldn't you? And obviously there's a power gain. So, you know, I wouldn't just do this for the noise, it is for the power. I want that extra horsepower, but the byproduct of that, of it making these fun race car noises, is awesome. It's so good, and if you don't enjoy driving a car and you don't enjoy the noises it makes and everything, you're probably doing this for the wrong reason. Go and do ostrich racing or something, I don't know. So yeah, anyway, that's in the car, and that's a pretty cheap, like, it's very hard to get extra power out of these things, and you know, word on the street is a gain of about 3 kilowatt. Let me just do some maths on that for us old schoolies. Okay, so that's about 4 horsepower. Now, once again, doesn't sound like a lot, but in these little cars, when they've got 95 odd horsepower, if you can gain 4 horsepower by bolting that exhaust on, you are laughing. That is unreal. So yeah, that's sick. I mean, it's not guaranteed you're gonna get that power, but any sort of power gain on these things is unreal. So I think these exhausts retail about $1,200. If you were to go to a shop and get a custom one made, you're probably going to pay about the same amount, and it won't be a tested dyno tune thing like this. There are other brands and they do good exhausts too, but from what I'm hearing, this is probably one of the best ones out there on the market, and I think that's a very reasonable price for the amount of power you're getting out of it. It's a quick, cheap, like, you could do this whole thing. If you're not faffing around and filming like I am, you can probably get this thing bolted on in under an hour. It's very easy, and that is a quick, cheap way to get more power out of your XL. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We're getting close now. There's only, let's have a look on my page, 19 days to Bathurst. Terrifying, terrifying. So the car is going, it's Friday today. I've got a YouTuber meetup tomorrow, which is cool, with a bunch of other car YouTubers. I've been to that before, and there's some really good dudes there. So I'll be going to that again, which will be great, and I might try and do a bit of filming there this time. Monday I'm taking the car at a macro. We may film that, we may not, just depends how we go with time, and you know, if he's busy, I'm just going to leave him to it, let him get a car done. And then next Friday, with any luck, I'm going to be at Winton and we're going to go test this thing. So that's very exciting because this car has changed so much since I last drove it. So check back for that, and we'll, I don't know what the next video will be, we'll check back and find out. But thanks for watching, guys, and thanks again for all your support. I am getting your supporter packs done for everybody that supported my Bathurst venture. I haven't forgotten about you. I've just obviously had to put it on the back burner to get this thing ready for Bathurst. I'm sure you understand. If you're supporting me, I'm sure you understand, okay? So please bear with me. What I want to do is cut you all a nice, good size Nugget Project sticker on the vinyl cutter. But to do that, I have to cut them all, which takes a long time, and I have to sit there and weed out all the letters and then put it on a contact sheet, and it's quite time consuming, but I do want to get you a nice, good vinyl Nugget Project sticker each, which is why this is taking a bit longer, because all the rest of the stuff's kind of been done. But I will try and put some nights aside to sit there in front of the TV and get that done for you, okay? So please bear with me. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. You.